Okay, Andy, this is a video just for you. This is your 177 footer on the right, and this is your throw from today on April 2nd on the left here. There are two different angles, so I got you pretty much stopped here at the same position with the right sweep leg. It's just locked out, so it's straight. You can see your arms are at 3 and 9 here. Left knee's down. I think you're going to see pretty quick what the difference is. Oh, what happened here? Let me come back here. Okay, right here. Let me synchronize these two. See if it jumps again. No, good. Okay, so we're starting to bring the right foot around. You can see you've got this kind of arch in your back on the left here. You're kind of standing up almost straight. See that? I can't tell what you're doing in the right video though, but you know, we talked about having the chest maybe over the top of the thigh a little bit, having a little bit of bend. You said you don't like that, so maybe you're doing the same position in both videos. I can't really tell anyway. Okay, so let's watch the right foot come down. See how you landed on the toe, and it looks like your foot is behind the knee, like the knee's here and the foot's back behind it. And let's take a look on the right side. What happens as your right foot lands? You land facing it at 12. But watch that knee rotation on the right. Remember I talked about the doing the half turns and driving that knee in first? You see what you're doing there? You're getting that knee driven right in there. Okay, right into the turn. Boom. Okay, so you've got the knee past the toe here. Let's take a look at the video on the left here. So you land in there, and I see the hip kind of push out a little bit. I can't tell if you're doing that on the right video or not. I would say probably not. But on the left, it kind of looks like you, well, for sure, your right foot is landing here about 3 o'clock, so you're not rotating it, over-rotating it up to 12 like you do on the right video. That's for sure. You hit the ground, then you turn it, and it takes a few steps. But here, now you're in the same position on both, where the right foot is at 12 o'clock here. Okay, and then after that, I'm going to sync these up again. You drop the left foot really a lot sooner on the right. See, your stance is closer, which is good. We talked about that, rather than have this long extended left leg like you do in the video on the left. See, you're still coming out. See, it kind of floats, so it doesn't come down right away. Like it should be down right about here already, and you're just kind of floating. Okay, so then you get this long stretch here, almost like a non-reverse. I don't know, maybe you are throwing non-reverse. I guess you are throwing non-reverses. That's the big difference between the two. And you're right, you're doing a reverse. It's quick, it's down, and then you're up. Where if you're non-reverse, you do get a little bit a longer stride here. The other thing is, for both videos, you should be doing this, but on the left video, I don't see you doing it. That is keeping the right foot turning the entire way. Now watch the video on the right. See, your toes just landed, okay? Now watch that, the heel's going to come around, the foot's going to keep turning. See that? Non-stop. Okay? All the way into the throw. Now watch the video on the left, after your right foot lands. Okay, toes are down, it's turning, you're settling on it. You see how it stopped right here between these two frames? Okay, next frame. See, it still hasn't turned? That's 2 frames if it's just sitting there at 12 o'clock. That's a common problem I see for some of the problems you're kind of pointing out, is that foot just stops turning. And, you know, people forget to do that, keeping the hip on top and rotating it. Let's watch on the right video here. See how you keep that hip over the foot? Well, it's way ahead, but that's because you're leaning forward. But you can see you keep that hip on top of the foot here. Especially right here, you can see it, straight line. I think, because you're stretching that leg out over here. Yeah, you can see the hip comes way forward. Your hip is way ahead of that foot. It's very hard to turn at that point. Okay. So you see some definite differences between your 177 footer and your throw from today. This is the first throw I've seen from you for quite a while. So yeah, I wouldn't. Let's see in the right. Let's see if you reach down with that toe. Not really. Not really. That's that plantar flexion right here. You probably want to keep that foot a little more dorsiflexion, like a little more horizontal, and then just wait rather than try to reach down with the toe. I think you do that in the right, which actually gives it more time to rotate in the air because you're not reaching for the ground. Yeah. Once you do this, you stop moving that right foot, you're just going to back in this way. You've lost your rotation, okay? If you keep the foot turning, you're going to keep rotating the hips. And if you stop the foot, you're just you're going to go linearly this way, okay? But you want to have that rotation into that drop right there. And then you can see right here, yeah, that's a good position right here for the non-reverse. You kind of slide this foot forward a little bit. I think because your feet are too far apart, maybe even for the non-reverse. You're keeping the knee down, so that's good. That's one of the things you want to do in the non-reverse is still learn how to keep that left foot blocked and learn how to keep that right knee bent. But you want to keep rotating that heel out. Okay, you want to keep driving and turning that right foot. It's hard to do because it's sliding because your feet are so far apart and you're trying to get that right hip ahead. Okay, you can do it, but your feet have to be closer. You can have that knee down, and that hip forward only if your feet are a little bit closer. Let's take a look at the video on the right. We talked about this before. Try not to extend that right leg upward, trying to drive it forward and around. So there's your right hip. See, it just came out. So that's good. But right here is actually when we talked about this before. You want that right hip ahead right here. While that discus is still in your hand, you want that hip to come out ahead. You do it about the same time right there. See the right hip pop out and the discus come out of your hand. Okay. You want that hip to come a little bit ahead because you want it to pull that discus. If you do it, you'll see what I mean. That hip will pull around and it'll pull that discus around. Okay, rather than doing it at the same time. And then we talked about getting this foot vertical. Okay, which drives that right knee down, and keep rotating that right heel outward and that right knee around this block leg rather than just going straight. Okay, you do it here, but the discus is already gone and your both feet are up off the ground. All right, take a look at that and keep working on what we're talking about. But you can definitely see some differences here. But of course, you got a reverse and a non-reverse. But I think if you see this, you're going to realize that right foot not turning is really probably the biggest thing that's affecting you right now. Okay.